not about politics. It's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get it and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's Just Football. Trevor Sikkema Mike Renner here with you on USA World Cup Tuesday.
Is it ever?
Massive match, baby. We got the USA shirt on. He's got the USA hat on.
Close thing I could do.
Patriotism. Mm-hmm. I actually don't think we're talking about the Patriots at all on this show, though, now that I think about it.
Good. Just USA.
Just as straight up good. What we are talking about, though, some dogs of the week. It's everybody's favorite segment. We're excited to hear what you guys think when it comes to giving shout-outs to players that played really well in Week 12. Mike and I each have 3 that we're going to give our shout-outs to, but we love hearing from you guys as well, who you think played really well this past weekend in the NFL. We've also got Seth Galena joining the show once again to break down his favorite play, or just a play that really stood out from him from this past week's game. And then we got a new segment. We got a little fact or fiction. So we're going to come up with playoff scenarios, end of the season awards, just this or that. We've got statements that the guys in the production portal have come up with that say, hey, do you believe this is fact or is it fiction? We're going to talk about it here on the desk. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. Shout out to Jeff, who was our chat champ from yesterday. I already know that Jeff is in the chat because he was first, Mike. Set the tone. Came in. He was the very first comment in the chat.
Yeah. Came in hot. Love it.
We love it.
I'm only getting in the chat right now.
We love to see that from a king. Did you do your random player of the day?
No, let me think here. I'll get one while that.
Okay. Jeff started the chat by saying, Trevor, how are we feeling about Buccaneer great Austin Seferian-Jenkins as our random player of the day? I thought ASJ was going to be good, and then he was not.
Yeah, he was not.
and then he absolutely was not. Quinn? What's going on, my friend? Who yelled "Let's go"?
Hey, it's been a busy morning.
Like 30 seconds.
It's Tyler pulled off some last minute magic.
I didn't know if it was Stone.
It was like a celebratory "Let's go."
Oh, for like the show, or did something else happen?
Yeah, for like the show.
Wow.
To get the wheels off the ground.
Okay.
But we got it, so it doesn't matter.
I heard it through the soundproof glass, which we might need a refund on the soundproof glass, but that got us fired up here on the desk.
I said you should hear me during a Browns game.
It would just be the bleeping mute button the entire time is what it would be. I guess not this past weekend. I can't even talk shit about it. Quinn, do we have a question of the day to get us started here?
Yeah. Who are the only 2 NFL wide receivers with more contested catches than George Pickens this year?
Oh, nice question. Steelers, huge dub last night in Monday Night Football, taking down the Indianapolis Colts. Can I just ask what the hell is up with coaches and timeouts this week?
Not their best showing.
Collectively, just not a good showing.
Then Jeff Saturday having the tweet from like 2 years ago saying we're talking about clock management.
Yeah, he got old takes exposed.
Lamenting it.
No, I didn't see that.
That's going to be a constant theme with how much, you're on TV, you tweet just dumb stuff.
No.
So this one, see, I would have gone like first guy.
Yes.
Mike Williams, but he's been hurt for like the past month.
Right.
He still may have more though, just because he was so. That's just his whole game. So that was my first thought.
Only wide receivers with more contested catches this season than George Pickens. I think that Mike Evans is always a great candidate for an answer like this because Mike just doesn't separate a ton. A lot of his catches are contested, but Mike doesn't have a ton of catches this year. So I don't think that he'd be up there. If there's only 2 wide receivers in the NFL with more contested catches, Mike Evans isn't going to be one of them.
If Quinn wrote this, I would be partial to T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, right.
He is up there, but that's my hint. It is not a Bengal.
Okay. Wow. Okay, we've already got people in the chat. Jake's already like T. Higgins.
T. Higgins is tied for 4th though.
Okay, so he is up there. Jack also said Drake London though. I think London's actually a pretty good one. Ooh! I just saw a guest from the chat that I like a lot. Parker said Chris Olave.
Okay.
I think Olave's got to be in there.
Didn't have that one that got called not a catch this past week, which was fairly absurd.
That was
wouldn't even call it. That wasn't even a contested catch either. yet still not a catch.
It was simply a catch.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That was as clear. That one was weird. That one felt like going back in time.
Someone says Michael Pittman Jr. up there as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking like bigger bodies, like
Not
Drake
bad.
London, Michael
Not bad.
Pittman. Even just guys with volume. Justin Jefferson's going to have a good amount just because you got
Right.
the volume. Him, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek actually has a ton of contested catches this year compared to his normal, I guess, like what he did in KC, because they were using him a lot more over the middle of the field, which was not really his role in Kansas City as much. So he has more this season, but even still, I'm not sure he's top 2.
The Birmingham, our chat champ from Thanksgiving week, said Kenny Galladay and David Sills. Kenny Galladay is probably contested playtime, leads the league.
Yeah.
In
He's
theory,
been
he should
contesting.
have a lot.
Right, he should have a lot.
He's got the build for it. He used to have a lot.
I think my answers are going to be Chris Olave and Drake London. I think those are my two.
I like this from the chat. I like Scary Terry and Michael Pittman. Smut said that. I think I'm going to ride with that.
Scary Terry, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Because the other thing is just quarterback-wise, he is the quarterback that's going to throw him a zillion contested targets in Taylor Heineke of late. So that's what I'm going.
A lot of people are guessing Justin Jefferson, like you said, simply because of volume, which I think is not a bad guess. It's not a bad guess there. Before we get into our fact or fiction, because that's what we're going to start off here today, any thoughts at all on Monday Night Football other than the timeout? Obviously, like Pittsburgh going down the draft order with that win.
I was going to say, I said it in the chat, great loss for the Colts.
What are they picking now?
Great loss for the Colts. You're picking up, they're up to 14th now.
Okay, all right.
But they don't have their schedule limping into the barn here.
Limping into the barn.
I mean, that's what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
Schedule limping into the barn is not easy. You got Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, and then Texans week 18. But you have 4 straight games of teams competing for playoff spots that have a lot more on the line than you do. They may only win 5 games. And they tied the Texans race, and they may not win another one this season. So they are going to be working their way up. So huge loss there. Hats off to Jeff Saturday and company.
The Steelers, on the flip side of things, before last night, I think they were picking 5th, and now they're picking 12th.
See, unless they were going to get, unless you're going to get unless you're going to get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, I don't think there's another prospect, non-quarterback, that you really need to be high up for.
Yeah, but
so
they
like
might
different.
have.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, top 5 pick, you're going to get one of those 2, I would bet, in this year's draft class, or one of the quarterbacks. But then if you're not a top 5 pick, 6 through 15 here, it's not a big difference. So unless you're really going to suck down the stretch, which Pittsburgh I don't think was ever going to.
Yeah, they're just too well coached of a team.
Exactly.
Like Mike Tomlin's just going to win them too many games. I think that them picking in the top 5 is it's fun to imagine. Like, we've done mock drafts here on the show before where it's like, oh, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But in reality, I think that they're okay where they are. Ultimately, they're not going to make the playoffs, so I think that a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans would tell you I'd rather lose as many games as possible, but we just know that that's not going to be the case with the Mike Tomlin team. Yeah. So shout out Mike Tomlin, win last night. And shout out Jeff Saturday, lost last night. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's how we'll recap Monday Night Football there. I know that was something that everybody was highly anticipating, our thoughts on Monday Night Football. Let's get into fact or fiction, though. This is how I want to open up the show. This is a fun segment that the guys in the production portal came up with yesterday, and we've got some beautiful full screens to go with it as well. Oh, I gotta put on my prop.
Let's see it.
I'm going. We're going full librarian here for fact or fiction.
Ooh.
We're actually putting on the glasses.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Are these glasses fact or fiction? What do you think?
They're fact. They're big fact. I like those a lot.
Okay. All right. They're blue light glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because you're a big gamer.
I am.
You rock them.
Which is funny because I probably only wear these like less than 10% of the time when I'm gaming, but they just sit next to my computer because I'm an absolute dumbass. All right. Fact or fiction, we would love to hear from you guys as well. We're going to throw out a lot of different scenarios. We're going to talk about them here on the desk, but you tell us whether each statement is a fact or whether you believe that it's fiction. First one, the New York Giants will make the playoffs this year. Giants are sitting here at 7-4, third in the NFC East. Probably not going to win that division, even though they have a nice win-loss record of 7-4. Right now, they are the number 6 seed in the playoffs right now. If you go to our power rankings, the Giants have a 57% chance to make the playoffs, but the 6th toughest schedule moving forward. Mike, what do you think? Giants making the playoffs, is it fact or fiction?
Yeah, still very much in control. We kind of broke down the schedule on yesterday's show.
Yep.
6 toughest, but it's because they played the Eagles twice. And one of those, thankfully for them, is in Week 18. So the Eagles may be resting starters by then. You may be getting a game against some backups in that one. So I still lean no, though, because they also have 2 games against the Commanders. And the Commanders, if you will, this defensive turnaround is for real for them. That defensive front 7 is difficult for anyone to go against, but especially a Giants team, because that's how they have to win games, right? They have to impose their will up front, is how they've kind of cobbled this all together, and I just don't see it happening against this Commanders defensive line, how well they're playing. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no.
I'm also going to say that this is fiction. I think the Giants making the playoffs is fiction. The team that they're really going up against is the Seattle Seahawks, right? I mean, because now that the 49ers have that division right now, I don't think they're going to give it up. I think that they're rolling too much in the right direction. 49ers are now 7-4, first place of their division. And the Seahawks, who were in the playoffs for most of the season, are now on the bubble. They're right outside, and they're that next team in at 6-5. So they're only 1 game back of the Giants for the wild card spot. But I trust. I'm looking at the Giants' schedule. You're right. It's tough. You're playing Washington twice. They're playing well. That last game against the Eagles is really going to mean a lot.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Will the Eagles be at a point to where they're resting players and they can give the Giants, I don't want to say a free win, because free win sounds insulting in the NFL, but you look at the Seahawks schedule, Rams this week, win. Panthers next week, win. Niners tough, Chiefs tough, probably losses. Jets, that's the big game for them. I think the Jets in the second to last game of the regular season is the big game for the Seahawks. So those are where my hinging points are, if you will, for this debate. I'm gonna say fiction. I think the Seahawks get in instead of the New York Giants. Next one, Jordan Love will start next week.
Ooh.
Next week.
This was tough. I do think the injuries, just Aaron Rodgers' diagnosis, like he came out of that game because of injuries. It wasn't just because the game was semi-decided. It was still a 2-score game. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, you would not take him out if he was not actually injured. So can't really speak to that. I think if he is healthy, though, I'll say the only way he's benched is because of injury. Healthy, I don't think they're benching him. I don't think they have someone in that staff willing to stand up and say, or
right.
Staff, whether it's coaching staff, whether it's GM, whether it's the owner like myself, to say, hey, Aaron, you got to sit.
Shut up.
I don't think they have that. I don't think anyone wants to do that. Now, after the season, they might say, hey, Aaron, we're going to trade you. But I don't think they're going to do that right now, especially against the Chicago Bears. Maybe during the bye week that comes after that, you can have that conversation more easily. But I don't think on this week against the Chicago Bears, it's only going to be injury-related if he doesn't play.
No one in ownership like myself.
I mean, if they need someone to tell Aaron, I will do it.
More time for Aaron to discuss conspiracy theories.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you see all that?
Yeah, I love that. Are we surprised?
Of course he does.
First conversation that he had with
he's just a
who was
curious
it?
guy.
With Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser, yeah.
Hey, what do you think about you believe in 9/11? Hey,
No.
You should read up on that. You should. That's what.
Read up.
Fact
Quote
or
up,
fiction?
Quote up. That's what the Aaron Rodgers
Fact or fiction.
conspiracy theory. Fact or fiction. Okay, so it looks like. Let's see. When we asked the question, fact or fiction, Jordan Love will start next week. Kerry started it off, and they said fiction, and then we got a lot of fact. Smuts says fact. Meta says fact. Drew says fact. Hopeful Lions fan says fact. Burning Ham says fact. Man, a lot of you guys saying that this is fact. I agree with Mike wholeheartedly. The only way that this becomes a fact is if Aaron Rodgers is too hurt to play. The report came out a couple of days ago that his thumb injury is a little bit more serious than what they were making it out to be, so it seems like he's playing through a lot of pain. Is it his oblique? Is that what it was from this past week? And so maybe it's just the mounting injuries at this point, but if Rodgers is healthy enough to go, I'm with you. This is fiction. Jordan Love is not going to start over a healthy Aaron Rodgers. It's just not going to happen. That's not going to be the way that he goes out, I don't think.
Oblique injury after playing so much golf as he did this offseason? Is there something there?
Oh, is there something to it?
I'm just asking questions, just like Aaron does.
Listen, I think you should read
About
in. I
controversial
think you should.
topics.
I think you should.
Read
should
into golf and obliques.
Read up on that a little bit. The next one: Jets will make the playoffs without Zach Wilson starting another game. Is this fact or fiction?
Oof.
Oh, the picture.
This was probably the most debated in my head of all of these. Like I had a good feeling kind of about the rest of these that we're gonna do, like a good first inkling. But man, I have no clue. AFC, just because the AFC right now, you just have to look at the landscape. Because you have one of the Dolphins or Bills is going to make the playoffs. I think we could pencil those in for one of the wild card. At this point then, so those teams are both 8-3. Then you have the Jets at 7-4, the Bengals at 7-4, the Chargers at 6-5, and the Patriots at 6-5. Pretty much those are your 4 teams for 2 spots then. 4 teams, 2 spots. I do think they are a better team with Mike White, but it may not matter with the rest of the AFC landscape because those are all damn good teams. Talking about the Patriots having one of the best defenses in the NFL. Chargers obviously have Justin Herbert and getting back healthier here. So I lean yes still, just because I think they're better offensively, and this defense is so good at its peak that I still lean yes for the Jets.
Okay,
fact.
So you're going fact. You're going fact for the Jets here. I'm going to go to the opposite side, and I'm going to say fiction here for the Jets. And I guess I'm sounding like a big New York team hater here on this show, but when I look at this situation, it's just on our simulation, we have the Jets with a 59% chance to make the playoffs. 10th toughest schedule moving forward, but when I look at their schedule, I go, this seems tougher than 10th even.
It's tough.
They play the Vikings in Minnesota. Then they play the Bills in Buffalo. They host the Lions. They host the Jags, which, okay, 2 of the lower tier teams in the NFL, but also teams that are
much
playing
better now than
right.
they were at the beginning of
Then
the season.
you're in Seattle, week 17, and then at Miami against the Dolphins. That's rough. I would like to see what 9 schedules are tougher than what the Jets have to go up against. So for as much as I respect what the Jets have done this year, and I don't mean this to be a major slight, I think the Chargers schedule is easier. I think one of the Bengals or the Ravens is going to make one of those wild card spots, so I don't think they're going anywhere. Even if I don't think the Patriots are a threat, I think the Chargers are. So Chargers getting healthier, Chargers having an easier schedule. I think the Chargers sneak in instead of the New York Jets. So I'm gonna say that this one's fiction. What'd the chat say on this one? Fact or fiction? Jets. Drew just said read up on it. Smut says fact that the Jets are making it. Hurricane Ditka 55, great username, says that this is fact. ET Dynasty fact. Carrie says fact. Starter says fact. Drew says fiction. There we go. Man, Anthony said this is the easiest fact yet.
Oh.
TJ says
Believers.
J.K. Rowling type fiction. I don't know if I'll go that far with TJ, but I do think this one's fiction. So we're on opposite sides here. Next one. Trey Lance will start for the 49ers next season.
Fact. One, because...
Are you sure?
One, because Jimmy G is going to cost a good amount. Now, he's costing them a good amount this year, but kind of an expensive roster at the moment as it stands. Yeah, and you just got to know. If Trey Lance is not your starter next season, it's going to go down as one of the worst draft picks of all time. Because if he's not your starter next season, he's not getting his 5th-year option picked up. He's not your long-term answer in San Francisco. So it sucks. Like the way his career has played out to date has been atrocious. But I do think at some point you just got to give him the reins, got to turn it over, got to have no excuses, let him sink or swim. Maybe he sinks, but that's the sort of corner you backed yourself into when you traded away as many picks as they did to go up to number 3 to get him.
I agree with you. It's just they are too pot committed, in my opinion, to Trey Lance. And now I will make sure to say this. We always give credit to front offices, ownerships, whoever the big decision makers are, when they can cut losses and not continue to have losses. And I think that some people would look at this situation and say, like, okay, we'll do that here. Don't compile a loss and make it worse by sticking with something that didn't work out for you. We don't know for sure if Trey Lance is a mistake. We don't know that yet. The dangerous part, though, is that we don't have the answer on the other side of things, and we're going to be going into year 3 of it. So I do think that this situation is different from people that would say the Trey Lance move was a mistake, Jimmy Garoppolo's playing really well, you move on from Trey Lance no matter what. I still think they would probably tell you that Trey Lance has the higher ceiling of these 2 quarterbacks. And as long as that truth still exists, I think Trey Lance is going to start next year. So I'm gonna say that it is fact that Trey Lance will start for the 49ers next season.
And with young QBs, at some point you need the reps. Yeah, at some point you have to play football, and especially Trey Lance, because he has played, the whole thing on him coming out of North Dakota State was he's played the least amount of football of any top 5 pick ever. Trevor Lawrence had more dropbacks as a rookie than Trey Lance had in his entire collegiate career and his entire pro career, including preseason. You just need to see NFL defenses at some point. So, yeah, it didn't look great out the gate, but at some point he just needs to see him or else you're dooming him to fail.
Daniel agrees. It's fact. There's too much invested in there. Bobby says the same. Fact. Hopeful Lions fan. Fact. Birmingham says fact. JM says fact. Tyler 5 says Trevor blows. Shout out. Nice. Philip says fact.
Lawrence, he's been hot lately.
No, he has been playing better lately, which Seth is going to highlight. So hopefully Tyler sticks around for that. A lot of fact that Trey Lance is going to start next season. So I think that's going to be the case as well. CJ Stroud will be taking over. Will Levis is the next one. This one's going straight to your heart here.
This one's, again, it's going to come down to who has the picks, right? I think Houston, obviously, they're going to be locked in number 1. I think a lot of, I want to say that they're going to take Bryce Young. I feel, it just feels right, that sort of connection with Bryce Young, the personality, the leadership, the whole package. Him going there feels right. But then number 2 right now, you have Chicago. Number 3, you have Detroit. Detroit's obviously the one who's going to be in the market for a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Do they go Stroud? Do they go Levis? I tend to think they'd go Levis. That coaching staff. The Levis personality would play, obviously, with the Dan Campbell staff, I would think, right? That to me. So I'm going to say, was it CJ Stroud will be taken before? I'm going to call it fiction. I'm going to say fiction. And if you think we're out going out on a limb here, fucking 33rd, 33rd team?
Yeah.
Had Will Levis number 1 overall. Quarterback 1.
And 33rd team is
comprised of former NFL coaches and front office staff. They had him number 1 overall. So you say it, he's going to go high.
But he's definitely going to go high. I don't know if he's going to go higher than Stroud. I think that's to be seen. Maybe you could be definitely right on this one. I'll go opposite with you, and I'll say that this is a fact. I'll still say that CJ Stroud is going to be QB2 off the board. Actually, very excited when I was talking with you a couple days ago is I realized that the regular season was done, and we get to now dive into some final evals for a lot of these guys. Actually. Well, not final. We've got the offseason, Senior Bowl Combine, all that stuff. But a lot of final film reviews on a lot of these guys. So we'll have better answers for that. We will also have another answer to this question tomorrow's show, because it's a full first round mock draft.
Oh,
yeah, there's a little teaser there, making sure you come back. Next one we got here, the win versus the Ravens will be a turning point in Trevor Lawrence's career. Tyler 5 says Trevor blows. I mean, he could have been talking about me, but I also got a win versus the Ravens.
I'm not sure I'm going to call it a turning point because it's been like this the last 3 weeks, right? Grades of 87.6, 83.1, 79.3. His 3 highest graded games of the season. I believe 3 of his 5 highest graded games of his career have come the last 3 weeks. So I think this is maybe the media leapfrog that he needed to get him in front of the stage of the national media to actually talk about him making the leap. But the leap has begun. He is there. He has arrived. Trevor Lawrence looks like the first of the 2021 quarterback class to really get that certified franchise status where I don't think you have any worries at this point. You don't put together 3 games like he has the last 3 weeks unless you got the goods.
I thought you were going to go Game of Thrones on me there and say, the first of his name, start getting into the title for Trevor Lawrence. No, I think in the spirit of this exercise, I will also say that it is a fact, but I agree with you. I don't think this is necessarily a turning point. We've seen him get better, and this weekend was simply his best yet.
Yes.
And so I don't think this is a major turning point because I don't think he's been terrible, especially as of late. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but I do agree with the spirit of what we are asking here. This is a fact. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to continue to play even better and better ball, be more consistent with a lot of the things that we saw from this past weekend. So I do agree with you there. Next one, Kevin O'Connell, the Minnesota Vikings head coach, will win Coach of the Year. Vikings at 9-2, overachieving massively this year, I think. What do we think about him winning Coach of the Year?
Fiction.
Ooh.
Fiction.
Strength schedule remaining 32nd?
They'll be
easiest?
Good. They will finish with a good record, but in my opinion, it's got to go to either Nick Sirianni, Mike McDaniel. One of those two. Those guys have coached their ass off this season, building around young quarterbacks, kind of molding their offenses to their skill sets in such a perfect way that it's one of those two. It's one of those two.
I think I agree with you. Here. I think most of the chat disagrees or agrees with it as well. Ooh. Oh, right off the bat, Meta says fact. Kevin O'Connell's going to win Coach of the Year. We got a lot of fiction, though. Slipping Sideways also says fact, but a lot of people are saying Nick Sirianni. A lot of people are saying Mike McDaniel. Meta says Nathaniel Hackett. Shout out for Coach of the Year, but I think the JM's got it right. It's Nick Sirianni or Mike McDaniel. Those guys not only have the records, but we know that awards, you kind of got to be a mainstay name in the media.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be talked about a ton. Nick Sirianni's being talked about a ton. Mike McDaniel's being talked about a ton. I think that goes into their advantage.
Yeah, what sound bites have you seen from Kevin O'Connell this year?
Yeah,
none. What sideline things from O'Connell have you been like, oh, there's O'Connell doing? No. Sirianni has him screaming at the fans. You got McDaniel telling Justin Fields to stop being so good. Those get you in front of the award voters.
Robert Saleh has the third highest odds. Okay, I was looking a little bit further down. I was like, this is disrespect, but Robert Saleh actually appropriately respected here with the third highest odds, actually above Kevin O'Connell to win Coach of the Year, which I don't hate as well. I think that his name should definitely be in that conversation. Last one, you should be scared to face the Washington Commanders in the playoffs. Fact or fiction?
Scared if you're an opposing quarterback.
Look at that face. Look at that face. You look into the eyes of Taylor Heineke.
Scared if you're an opposing quarterback.
Scared.
This D-line's going to be scary come playoff time. So, yeah, I'm hedging and saying scared if you're an opposing quarterback, not so scared if you're an opposing fan base. I just don't think this Washington team's built to take down contenders.
Hell yeah, you should be scared.
Okay.
You know what? You should absolutely. This is a fact. You know why? Because the other team should be scared. The opposing fan base should be scared. Ron Rivera should be scared. Washington Commanders fans should be scared because you never know what Taylor Heineke's going to do when the ball gets in his hand.
I feel like you have a pretty good idea of what he's going to do.
No,
he's going to throw it up to someone, maybe not who.
But you don't know when it's coming.
Yeah, when.
But you don't know when it's coming. Look, Taylor Heineke played the game of his life against Tom Brady and almost beat the Bucs in that first game of their Super Bowl run. People do forget that. I don't. No, but in all seriousness, I think that Washington is obviously on an incredible stretch here. But I've said before on this show, the luck's got to run out because it is luck at this point. Taylor Heineke's got more turnover-worthy plays than he does big-time throws, right? He puts the ball into harm's way a lot more than you would want to bet on for somebody to really continue this success, especially when you get into the playoffs against better teams. So maybe a little bit because they're just such a, for lack of a better term, a wild card team. You don't know what you're going to get. The defensive line plays really well, like you pointed out, but a serious contender? No, probably not. If you're a solid team, if you get solid discipline on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, you should be able to handle the Washington Commanders, even though they're having a fun little stretch here. I got to see what the chat actually thinks about this one. Fiction. Jack and Sean, though, fact. Philip says scared if you're the Bucs, so Philip doesn't forget either. Drake says fiction as hell. Adam says fiction, but again, Chase Young's going to play, so he pointed that out as well as you. But a lot of people not exactly believers in the Washington Commanders when it comes to playoff time, at least not to be feared, which was the point of the question there. So, Quinn, what do you think? Should teams be scared of the Washington Commanders? What do we think?
I'm saying yeah, because if I was if as a fan, if my team, like let's say I was like an Eagles fan, which I'm not. If they lost
to be very clear, you're not.
I'm not, yeah. But if you lost to the Commanders, that'd leave a sour taste in your mouth.
That is true. It's like you
so
can't
I'm scared
lose.
of that.
It's one of those where you have everything to lose. They have nothing to lose.
Right.
They have Taylor Heineke. They're
correct.
It's icing on the cake for them.
That's why
you lose your
That's what I'm saying.
stock.
That's why. The other team's got to be scared. The other team's fans have got to be scared. Ron Rivera's got to be scared. The rest of the Commanders have got to be scared. Commanders fans have got to be scared. Everybody's scared.
Scared, terrifying.
It's just a terrifying game. You never know what the results are going to be. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us in that Fact or Fiction game. That was a lot of fun for us to play. You know, we talked about Trevor Lawrence. That was one of the questions in there, and that's the topic of conversation that we're going to have here with our good friend Seth Galina, who joins the show once again to break down what was an incredible performance from the golden child of the NFL. Seth, how are you feeling today, my friend?
I'm great. I'm here in the offices of Seth Galina. I'm going to break down some tape for you guys.
Did you not pay your lighting bill?
I see the they were trying to get the lighting set up like before the show, and I don't know. He's gonna figure it out.
Just a little dark.
Yeah.
I see the screen behind you though.
When we go full screen, you're going to be able to see. I got Trevor Lawrence himself behind me. We're going to break down his play against cover 2 because I think it's super important just being able to be good against cover 2 in today's NFL, and then also just showing that Trevor Lawrence, obviously an up and down start to his first 2 years, but I think the last 3 weeks has been insane, and plays like this, being able to beat cover 2, are why he's still a top, I guess you could still call him a prospect, but a top prospect going forward.
All right, so let's talk about it here. We'll set you up full screen. We'll let you get bigger so we can see the full screen there. Explain to us what we're going to be looking at today, why you pointed this out, and then, like you said, beating cover 2, why that is so important, and it could be a building block for him to continue to play really well.
Yeah, so first of all, we got to be very careful here, because if I press play on this video, the NFL will bomb the PFF offices. So we're going to be very clear that we're just doing screenshots right now.
We're just having fun. We're just having fun, NFL. We're just a couple of dudes having fun.
The nice thing is that I'm not at the PFF offices, so...
No, I see what you did here. I see what you did here.
All right. So the main thing about... Look, we're seeing a change in defense. We've been talking about it for 2 years now. Cover 2, cover 4, 2 high safety defenses, they're in right now. It is the main thing. So the main thing makes cover 2 different than pretty much any other coverage, as we can look here, as you can see, this is Marcus Peters over here on the bottom. And the main thing is, if this receiver goes vertical, like I've drawn, he will not go with him. This is pretty much the only coverage in football where if the number 1 receiver goes vertical, the cornerback will not follow. Cover 3, cover 4, cover 1, they're all going to follow vertically. So that presents a difference in how a quarterback is going to read things out. And I think when we talk about cover 2, we know that the holes are right here between the corner and the safety, and then between both safety. So when we look at that, we say, okay, this is very different how we're going to have to be able to play quarterback against this style of defense. When you're playing a one-on-one type of situation, cover 3, cover 1 on the outside, you can kind of wait for your receiver to get open. He's going to have to create separation. He's going to have to do it himself, and then you can put the ball on him. Certainly you have to play with timing, but I think against cover 2, you have to play with a lot more timing, and that's where Trevor Lawrence has always been kind of his best trait, is playing with timing. And sometimes it gets him in trouble, but you can see, yesterday against the Ravens, and then again the past 3 weeks, when he's playing well, the timing is really off the chains. And we can see it here to start. This is the touchdown to Hasty down here. I've drawn him up here, right here. And you're going to get cover 2 from the Baltimore Ravens. So this safety is going to stay up here. Marcus Peters in the flat. And what you're going to see here is, as I start the play and I skip a few frames ahead, this is Trevor Lawrence. And what he's doing, you can kind of see it here, is he's actually separating his hands from the ball and making it seem like he's going to throw this out route down here. And what that does is it stops Marcus Peters' feet, it stops the safety's feet, and you can hit this window right here. He also does it on time. He's separating the ball while he's taking that hitch step, which he would anyways in the route concept, and he's able to do that, get the defenders to stop their feet, and then boom, you have the ball here for a touchdown. And he did this time and time again. So we're going to show it again right here, very quickly. We have another cover. They're going to play 3 high safeties. You can see it here, but they're going to rotate into cover 2. and it's going to be right here on the corner route that we're looking here. And again, the main thing is we play with timing, we play with consistency in our accuracy, we can throw the ball against cover 2. Because there's only a single receiver here, this corner, I think it's Marcus Peters again, is not held by anything. So we saw before we had an out route. That means he's held by that out route because he is the flat defender. Single receiver side, he's not held, which means we have to play with even better timing. So we're going to skip ahead here, and we're going to see right at the end of Trevor Lawrence's drop back, he is going to throw this football, and you can see here's the half-field safety. Here's Marcus Peters playing underneath the route because he is a cover 2 corner. There's no route over here to hold him. So if there's no route over here to hold him, Marcus Peters can keep going underneath this route. If he keeps going there and you play late, he can make a play on the football. But because you play on time, because you throw the ball accurately, you get a throw right here on the sideline between the corner and the safety. Unbelievable throw. And this was, again, it was doing all day, so we can see it again here. We have, this is kind of, we're going to get cover 2 on this side, and then we get kind of a cover 4, cover 2 look on this side. Trevor Lawrence doesn't know that. So you're going to get like an out and up basically on the sail type of concept from Zay Jones, and then get the out route over here. And again, you play with timing. You can hold that corner. They're going to hold him a bit with this out and up route. So you can kind of see it right here. The safety is, here we have the cover 2 on this side. We have the safety deep over here. The corner is going to jump this out route. But again, because you have this safety off the hash, you have to play with timing. It's the only thing you can do. You have to play with timing. If you wait, that safety has a chance to make a play on the ball. He throws it. This is the end of Trevor Lawrence's drop back. He throws it on time, and we have a huge play down the field here. This, I believe, is the last drive of the game when they came back and made the unbelievable comeback against the Ravens, who continue to blow big leads in big games. And then the last one is the touchdown. We have it here from the.
We're dead.
From the broadcast view here, so we can see the whole field. We're going to get, again, cover 2 basically on this side. And here's the fun part about it is you're on the goal line. You have to understand leverage of the players. It's not enough to just say, oh, they're in cover 2, oh, it's cover 4. We have to understand, like, individually what the player is doing on defense, what his technique is, how far is he from the receiver, where is his hips, and all that stuff. So we're going to see here, they're just going to get that same that we said again, the go out route. He's going to hit the go for a touchdown. And when we see here is, I want you to look at, so we can see the cover 2 again, but what I want you to look at is Marcus Peters' technique. That, to me, when I see that, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, and this is the end of his drop back, so playing on time again, that to me is telling me that's not a man coverage technique. He's leaned over, he's trying to bump the receiver out of bounds like cover 2. If it was man, he'd be in his hip pocket, he'd be turning with him. So because of that, Trevor Lawrence knows, again, the hole is right here. It's not a back shoulder. You don't really want to throw it over the top because the safety can get there. And again, playing on time, he's able to throw the ball. As Marcus Peters, if you watch the play, go on YouTube, watch the play, you will see Marcus Peters peek inside because he's a zone defender, right? He's eventually going to turn his hips and peek inside to see where the routes are because he's a zone defender. Right when he does that, the ball is thrown, and we get this unbelievable play and catch by Marvin Jones in the back of the end zone, and they hit a 2-point conversion to win. So just like understanding that, and just as what Trevor Lawrence does the best, understanding how to play with time, how to play with poise, really, really great pocket awareness, pocket movement, and throwing on time. Last 3 weeks, I think he's been our second highest graded quarterback. So hopefully it's starting to come around for him. This was a big step in the right direction. He was awesome the whole game, whether it was cover 2 or any other coverage. But just specifically versus cover 2, he's been awesome because he plays with timing, because he plays with poise. And I really think this is the jumping off point for what I really think is going to be a great career.
Seth, I know that you've watched a ton of Lawrence, even going back to Clemson as well. So, his success and you emphasizing, hey, him playing with so much incredible timing and accuracy and all of those things that are going into what we saw this past weekend. Is that, would you say, a newer development for his game, or is this simply like what Trevor Lawrence has always been wanting to do? He just did it at an extremely high level this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the latter. I think he's always been wanting to play. You saw it in the Clemson, when he was at Clemson, always wanted to play on time, always wanted to get the ball out quick and making super fast decisions in his little brain. And then there was just a lot of inconsistencies. I think there's still going to be some inconsistencies with accuracy. You even saw it in this game. Some quick out routes you saw in this game that he could probably wants back. Completions, but probably wants back in terms of accuracy. So that's always going to be the problem. But this playing on time, playing ahead of the defense in a sense, has always been his strength. It's just like kind of ironing out the inconsistencies and probably ironing out some of the late in the down decisions. So you even saw it this week against the Jaguars, against the Ravens, where he's going to roll out of the pocket and he's going to try and make a play down the field, and he probably just needs to eat the football and take a sack or throw the ball away, and the Ravens DB drops the interception. So those type of plays need to be cleaned up, but I think we're heading in a good direction for him and for this Jacksonville Jaguars franchise.
I love it. Seth, you're the best, man. Appreciate you joining us as is now an every week thing, which we appreciate, making us smarter football fans, man. Thank you.
If you hear sirens under the desk, right away.
Okay, all right. We'll hit the missile drill for that little part that he actually played the video of. I mean, no, he didn't play the video. Of course he didn't play the video. We didn't play the video.
I do love, though, one other takeaway from that's more of a kind of scouting takeaway, is looking at the freeze frame when Trevor Lawrence was letting those throws go. And the fact that those guys were not open yet. They were not, quote unquote, open. If you put a freeze frame of it and, circled all the receivers, you're not saying, oh, wow, look at this guy, how wide open he is. Mm-hmm. And it's why, one, freeze frames can be misleading about, how open someone is. But two, how at the collegiate level, if you aren't seeing a guy make throws like that, if a guy cannot throw with anticipation, if a guy has to see something be open to hit it open, that's a worrisome trait because of how small or how quickly the window is open and closed at the NFL level. If you're not playing with anticipation like that, now you don't have to be as good as Trevor Lawrence, but not being able to throw with anticipation really is going to limit your game, because that is one of the biggest traits that a young quarterback or any quarterback has to have to succeed.
No, I think that's a fantastic point, and it's something that we'll be talking about plenty with this quarterback class, because there's a lot of great quarterback names that are at the top. We talked about C.J. Stroud, we talked about Will Levis, but other guys, Tanner McKee, Anthony Richardson, Michael Penix. There's a lot of guys in this quarterback class who we're going to be sifting through here on this show to let you guys know what we think about their pro prospects moving forward. All right. It's time to cue up the video, baby. It's time for everybody's favorite segment. It is our Dogs of the Week. Let's go.
He scored 5 touchdowns. Dog. He's a dog. He's a dog. He is a dog. Absolutely.
He is absolutely a dog. You guys know the drill. Dogs of the week. Mike and I will each rotate. We'll go back and forth. Give you our dogs of the week. We'll each give you 3. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. Who earned dog of the week in the NFL in your eyes? Mike, I'm going to start with you, though. Who is your number 1 dog of the week?
First dog of the week, going back to Thanksgiving, we're going to go with C.D. Lamb. Huge. Cowboys wide receiver. A 92.2 receiving grade against the Giants, because he did not need more than one hand to haul in the majority of the passes he was hauling in there. 6 catches, 106 yards, a lot in spectacular fashion. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, dog.
He's sick, man. CeeDee Lamb is truly becoming one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I feel like he's, I don't know, in my mind, underrated at this point, under-talked about. I just feel like he has been playing so well as of late, and some of the guys in that receiver class have had some breakouts before he's been able to break out. So I feel like he's just not getting enough recognition. So this call out. This is a good one. Even though it's a guy who a lot of people believed in from the very beginning, I don't think there's people who doubted CeeDee Lamb. This is a big pick. I like it. I like it. My first dog of the week, I didn't know we were going to talk about him so much, so it's going to sound redundant, but it has to be Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is my first dog of the week. We talked about it at the top of the show. Seth just broke it all down right there. What Trevor Lawrence did this past weekend was phenomenal, and a comeback-style win where every throw felt like it had to be on the money, and then especially when you line up to go for 2. And you fire that football in there exactly where it needs to be, cold-blooded, full confidence. That's a dog of the week, baby. We talked about how we hope that this is the maybe not beginning, but something that is going to continue to catapult him to consistent success. That's what we're looking to see, but there's no doubt about it. You cannot look at this Week 12 slate of games and not have Trevor Lawrence as a dog of the week. 4 big-time throws, 83.3 adjusted completion rate, over 300 yards passing. Beautiful day for the golden boy of the NFL, if you will. So had to get Trevor Lawrence in there as a dog of the week.
All right.
What's your next?
What's
next for you?
Mike Hilton, slot corner.
This is
Cincinnati
this
Bengals. 5'9", 183 pounds. 4 run stops on Derrick Henry, and only 12 plays against the run in this one.
Crazy.
Giving up 64 pounds to Derrick Henry. 64 pounds. Stops him 4 times.
I like the tail of the tape there. I like that.
In a very big win for the Cincinnati Bengals with big playoff implications. They will be hopefully back in January. But yeah,
I think
Mike Hilton, big part of that. Dog.
Smut also shouting out Cam Taylor-Britt, another defensive back for the Cincinnati Bengals, who was another guy sticking his nose in there against a monster in the backfield.
More like Cam Taylor hit.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That was a good one. That was good, Quinn. I like it. But just that mentality of the Cincinnati Bengals, I think, is all there. Like you were saying, DT Dynasty's giving a shout out to Mike White. I don't think I had Mike White on here. Oh, I do have Mike White on here. So actually, that's a little preview of what we got going on here. There were so many to choose from. Wasn't sure it was on my 3. Drake said Josh Jacobs, huge dog of the week. He wasn't on either of our lists, but he absolutely deserves a shout out for a massive day. We got Brian Robinson as well. Shaw's shouting him out. T. Higgins, yeah, that's a fantastic shout out as well. T. Higgins, just another unbelievable day. Garrett Wilson for playing well with Mike White. That's the shout out there. JM says Martin Emerson, the corner from the Cleveland Browns, going 1-on-1 with Mike Evans there. Shut him down a little bit. Calm down, Sov. Calm down, okay? Jared shouting out Lane Johnson, as we could feels like we could every single week. My second one, it was somebody shouted him out in the chat. I wasn't sure who it was, but he's on my list. 6th round rookie. James Houston the 4th for the Detroit Lions. Plays 5 snaps. He's got a fumble recovery, 2 sacks. Never been done before in the NFL. Nobody's come on first game in the NFL, got themselves 2 sacks. James Houston had 2 sacks, and they weren't just like BS sacks. They were on 3rd down. They were high-effort stuff. He was winning against those offensive linemen. I think in both occasions, he actually had to get around a tight end or a running back first before he got up to where the quarterback was. So multiple blocks that he had to get by. He was super impressive on the day. I love to see it. He didn't play a ton as a 6th round rookie, but he was activated from the practice squad for the first time. 80.1 overall grade, 75.7 pass rush grade. And like I said, the first player in NFL history with 2 sacks in their first game in the pros. So had to shout out James Houston the 4th. Anytime you make history, probably going to be a dog of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your last one?
Last one, going to the Sunday night game. Jalen Hurts against the Green Bay Packers. Dog of the week. Got a little screwed on one of his sneaks by the Packers cheating.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more talked about stories of the game.
Sure. Yeah.
The Packers cheated. They called out the snap count, so that's why they fumbled that one snap. It's illegal.
Well, maybe they shouldn't be so predictable.
But
what do you mean?
Jalen Hurts, 10 first downs on the ground. 10. The most of any player in Week 12. He was, when everything was jammed up, when he had nowhere to go in the passing game, let me just run past the sticks real quick. Oh, NBD. I'll just take that. Nope, excuse me. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts, monster performance on the ground. One of the best rush performances you'll see from the quarterback. Obviously in vogue nowadays. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, been a dog of the week. Been a dog all season.
Been a dog. I'll stick with quarterback for my final dog of the week. I said it. It is Mike White, the quarterback from the New York Jets. I loved it. And, sometimes the dog can mean a couple of different things. Here, it's the underdog, right? The backup quarterback coming in, you're replacing the number 2 overall pick in Zach Wilson, and the entire team rallies around you. What do? You have a fantastic performance. 22 of 28 passing for over 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You got 2 big-time throws to just 1 turnover-worthy play. Just to watch the team rally around this dude. He was truly a leader and an underdog in its best form. Loved what I saw from Mike White. I don't think Zach Wilson starts another game this season, and it's because of how well Mike White played in this past game. Now, I don't think they're all going to look like this, right? I feel like there's going to be a little bit of progression towards the mean with Mike White and what we can probably expect from him. But look, he's a Hall of Famer. Had his gear last year, be put in the Hall of Fame for a performance then. Has another fantastic performance in relief this weekend. So I absolutely love to see that. Jared's giving a shout out to Caleb Williams, going to the college ranks for taking down your Fighting Irish.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to go to college. It's cool.
I would be remiss
Stay with
if I
NFL.
didn't bring up J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines, who had 4 touchdowns in the horseshoe, defeating Ohio State. So there you go, Dave Solfaro. That's a shout out for you. Adam said Mike Purcell has to be a dog of the week for saying what needed to be said.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said, though. I don't know if it's what needed to be said. I don't know if that's the case. George Pickens, Nathan shouting out George Pickens is the dog of the week. Also shouting out Jelani Woods. Ooh, you want shouting out Reed Blankenship?
Ooh. The pick on Rodgers was sick.
It was.
The bad angle on Christian Watson was not as sick.
Okay. Come on, calm down. I also thought it was funny when people were like, the Jordan Love Christian Watson connection is here, and it was like a wide open dig route that he just took like 64 yards or whatever it was. It's like, okay, he dumped it off 7 yards or whatever. But we're not here to hate. Ryan Richton, one of our incredible producers here on this show, said Spencer Rattler yet again. I don't think either of us had Spencer Rattler on our dog of the week from last week.
Did not.
But he's
been playing well.
6
One
touchdowns.
more year of that, hey, we could talk about the draft.
I think we'll get to it. All right, I think that's most people. A lot of people shouted out Josh Jacobs. A lot of people shouted out Trevor Lawrence. We're getting into college stuff now. Brian Robinson already mentioned him. James said Ed Oliver. Huge game for Big Ed. I agree. It's a very good game for Sir Edward Oliver. The Buzzard says Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jose says the 49ers whole defense, dogs. I think it's a good call. I think that's a good call out there. Anytime you get a shutout on any team in the NFL, whole unit, dogs of the week. I absolutely love it. What about getting some people out here on some early money, Mike? What do you say about that? Locks of the week. When you look at week 13, God, week 13 already in the NFL. You got a spread. You got an over. You got an over under. You got a prop bet. Something you like with this upcoming week?
I do.
What do you got?
In fact, I have the Dolphins traveling across country to the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, what a game!
Going over 46.5.
What a game!
There's points are going to be scored. This is like the best collection of weapons you can put on an NFL football field this year. Points are going to be scored. I don't care if these defenses are good. Dolphins defense is not good, actually. So it doesn't matter to me. Dolphins going to score on anybody. 49ers going to score on anybody with the talent they both have. Let's go over 46.5. Can't believe that number so low.
Green Line likes it. Green Line's giving it a B. Maybe you guys can see that right there. That's from the PFF
That's a
app.
23-24 game.
Yes. Oh, Niners D's playing so well, though.
They played the Saints.
They shut
Saints
them out.
don't hold a candle to the Dolphins.
0.
Don't hold a candle.
0. I'm going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Titans play the Philadelphia Eagles. This game's in Philly. Titans getting 5.5. I think I have a rule at this point. A creed. A motto. Anytime the Titans are getting more than 5.
Yeah, Titans dogs.
I'm taking it. I got to take it. Mike Vrabel has earned that. If he hasn't earned Coach of the Year, he has certainly earned that. If you were giving the Tennessee Titans 5.5 points, I don't care where it is. I don't care who it's against. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to go Titans getting 5.5. That's my lock of the week.
I can get on board with that.
All right. Okay. Can we get an answer to the question of the day here? This is what I'm really looking forward to before we get out of here. This is a good question, Quinn. You were on one with this question. Who are the only 2 wide receivers in the NFL with more contested catches than Steelers wide receiver George Pickens this season? I'm going to go Chris Olave, and I'm gonna change mine to Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna go Chris Olave and Justin Jefferson. That is my final guess. I'll give the chat a couple of seconds here to get their final guesses in. But what do you think?
I went with Michael Pittman and Scary Terry.
Okay. All right. Did you think about Jefferson at all? Because we talked about that at the top of the show.
That one probably should have gone.
4 completely different ones. Ooh. Stone, I think, is running the main account. It says final question of the day answers. Nobody's gotten it yet.
Whoa. I'm looking at it right now.
Doesn't often happen.
Interesting.
Oh, you know who it is?
I got one of them. You got one of them. But we didn't both get them.
Oh, so is it...
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, combined, you guys got it. It's Justin Jefferson and Michael Pittman. So 1, the volume, and 2, a guy that's built for contested catches.
Where's Olave?
He plays with a bad quarterback.
Olave. Let's take a look. Olave was not near there. He has 7, so he's 28th. Whereas
Where's Scareth?
Scary is
Scareth
4th, actually. He has 12.
Wow.
So that's close.
Who's 3?
Mike Williams has 12.
Who's 3?
Pickens was 3.
T. Higgins has 12.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Pickens is 3.
That was
Pickens is
the-
3. All right, so you beat me on that one then. You beat me because you got one of the answers correct,
Yeah.
and you get the guy who's number 4. I can't believe I'm getting manipulated by the highlights right now.
Yeah.
I'm just getting manipulated. I see so many good contested catches from Chris Olave. I'm in my own head. You hate to see that. You got to get that out of the way before trivia so Eli didn't get in there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying here. Do we have a chat chant for the day?
Drew Forsyth. Day
one. There we go, Drew. What'd you say at the end there? What'd you say, Stone? Sorry.
He's a day one. He's been here since day
I know. Drew's been in the chat. Drew's in the chat all the time. Shout out to Drew, our chat champ of the day.
Drew's
Love
not
to see
only
it.
here. Drew is in almost every podcast.
Oh, you love to see it.
Love
Truly
it,
a PFF lifer out here, which we love to see. We love to stand, and we love to crown here on this show as the chat champ for the day. I teased it a little bit, middle of the show. Tomorrow, folks, it's Mock Draft Wednesday. You have come to love Draft Talk the middle of the week. Well, we got a treat for you. We've done the top 5. We've done the top 10. We've even done the top 20. And, Mike, tomorrow,
Top 32?
we go all the way. Well, 31. 31, technically.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
We get
Miami
450.
Dolphins trying to steal Tom Brady. Not so fast, my friends. But we will have a full first-round mock draft for you on tomorrow's show. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. For Trevor Sikkema, for Mike Renner, for everybody in the production portal, thank you guys so much for watching. It's Just Football. We'll see you right here for some mock draft madness tomorrow. See you guys then.
USA, USA, USA.
It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.